Welcome to IN60, where my guest is Varun Laijawalla, Emerging Markets Equities Portfolio Manager at 91. Welcome, Varun.
Thank you, James. Thanks for having me.
It's a great pleasure to have you here. Now, I'm going to ask you a series of short, sharp questions, where after short, sharp answers, you can pass at any time, and your time starts now. Varun, what do you do outside work to unwind?
I like to think that I can find myself on a golf course. I think the reality is I'm chasing my kids around the house.
Does managing an emerging markets portfolio mean constant travel, or can it be done remotely?
I think the way that we operate is a combination of the two. We have an alpha model, a screen that allows us to focus on where the fish are swimming. Then it's down to us to jump on a plane and go catch those fish.
Emerging markets is not a heterogeneous group of markets, but do you think some investors still see it that way?
Potentially. I mean, there's 24 odd markets we can invest in. They're all doing very different things. The way we think about the world is let's look at each company individually and let's look at each market individually.
What sectors tend to crop up the most often in the emerging market landscape, even with a very disparate group of markets?
It's very diverse, James. So you could have financials being attractive at a certain point in the cycle. You could have consumer technology businesses coming to the fore. So I think the beauty of the asset class is you've got different drivers at different points in the cycle, and it's down to us to make the right choices around them.
When you're on a plane, Varun, and heading home from company meetings, what would we find you reading or watching?
If I look in my bag today, I've got Sun Tzu's Art of War waiting to be reread on the trip home tomorrow.
What's the biggest driver of emerging markets performance? Is it earnings, margin growth, revaluation, or foreign exchange changes?
I think if you look at the last 10 years, James, it's none of those things. It's actually what we call dilution or net issuance. Essentially, new companies coming to the index at an expensive valuation and then derating. That's been the biggest driver.
And at the stock level, is company management more important than product or market?
Both.
What's the biggest factor that makes you optimistic about emerging markets?
Probably the fact that I think investors have thrown in the towel on the asset class. It's so beaten down, and I think some of the positive catalysts are lining up.
Conversely, what potential development worries you about the asset class?
I think if you look at the two bigger drivers today, it's obviously the dollar, and the second is geopolitics. Either could go either way.
Varun, where would you live if not London?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. Probably Mumbai, where I was born, where outside of my parents, outside of my wife and kids, the rest of the family lives.
This has been IN60 with Varun Laijawalla from 91. Thank you very much, Varun.
Thanks for having me.